Hello in TV Land. Ah, ça va commencer dans quelques minutes. Le temps de prendre une petite gorgée là. Oh yeah. Tasty. Bon, on va regarder comment est-ce que tout ça fonctionne en espérant que ça ne plante pas. Nous sommes en direct. OK, je ne sais pas si vous m'avez entendu là, juste avant, parce que là, je voyais que c'était en train de travailler sur le Facebook, en train de partir. J'utilise pas mon chose habituelle là, pour faire mon stream, mais c'est pas un live save. Hello everyone. As usual, it's going to be in English and in French. Both languages, because I'm bilingual. So I don't know if we're live. We're gonna wait for people to show up. I have no clue how this is going to work, but it's our first time. C'est notre première fois, premier essai. Fait qu'on commence dans 5 minutes, 5 minutes, we'll start. Let me get myself ready, put my nicest face on, clean the mustache, the beard, the glasses. There you go. 5 minutes, 4 minutes. It will start. Okay, let's see if everything looks okay. What's up? Je vais voir comment est-ce que je peux voir. Ah, voilà, c'est mieux comme ça. OK, well, welcome, bienvenue to this first edition, à cette première version, premier épisode, first episode of this new thing that I'm going to try, well, I'm going to do, quelque chose que je vais essayer de faire toutes les semaines. I'm going to try to do every week. Like I said earlier, and like I say all the time, my broadcasts are always bilingual, so French. Hey, Greg Marshall. Welcome aboard. So, as I always do, all my live sales or all my things are in French and in English. I always try to do my best to do both languages because, as you guys know, that doesn't speak French. I live in Quebec, and there's a lot of my followers. I don't like that term, but people that are on Yoda's workshop that are French. Donc, comme d'habitude, le broadcast va être en français et en anglais. Je fais toujours mon mieux pour que ça soit bien équilibré. Et gênez-vous pas de me remettre à l'ordre si jamais je suis juste en français pendant 10 minutes. So, and if you guys see that I'm only in French for a very long time, you can write it down. Phil, we don't understand the thing that you're saying. And I'll try to do my best to explain everything in both languages. So welcome, bienvenue à cette nouvelle aventure, to this new thing. I'm going to try to do this every week, and it's called The Vintage Kids. I was trying to find a title, j'essayais de trouver un titre, et ça s'appelle The Vintage Kids. Je cherchais un titre, et c'est l'affaire qui m'est venue le plus logique pour moi, parce que je trouve que ça nous représente bien. I came up with that title because I think that's the best way to represent us. We are still kids in our hearts because we love Star Wars, we play with toys, we collect things that brings us back to our childhood. On est des collectionneurs, on joue avec des jouets, on collectionne des jouets, on tripe sur Star Wars, on tripe sur G.I. Joe, whatever. Et on est encore des enfants dans l'âme. Donc, à quelque part, on est vintage. So, in a way, we're vintage. So, I guess that Vintage Kids was the best title I could use because this is what I'm going to try to present every week to have fun with you guys that are vintage kids, just like me. It's going to be, and I'm learning, so je suis en train d'apprendre. We'll be able to watch it on Yoda's Workshop group, and I'll also create a YouTube page that you'll be able to follow also on YouTube, where I'm going to put every episode. Donc, je vais mettre ça aussi sur YouTube. Donc, même si vous n'êtes pas là live, le but, c'est que on ait quelque chose à regarder, qu'on peut se rejoindre ensemble, toute la gang, à toutes les semaines. Et puis qu'on discute d'un sujet. Et c'est un peu ça que je veux faire avec vous, c'est que je veux vous présenter un sujet à chaque semaine. Donc, ça ne sera pas des ventes. There will be no sales on this thing. This is not a sale. There'll never be items up for sale. I'm going to still do some live sales and everything. Vintage Kids rock. See, it works. Hey, it rocks and it works. My wife wishes I would grow up. Mine too. But I mean, yeah, it really represents this group that we are. I mean, I don't know. And that's why I made those. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures that I photoshopped with my head on the kids that are in the 1980s in the stores. Je sais pas si vous avez vu les photos que j'ai photoshopées avec ma tête sur des bonhommes, des enfants des années 80 qui sont dans le magasin en train de checker des Minton cards. Tu sais. Donc, we're going to do this every week. It's a trap. Good point. So every week we're going to do this for about an hour. Je veux m'enligner pour que ça soit 1 heure. Ça devrait toujours être à peu près 1 heure parce que je veux vous faire le tour d'un sujet à chaque semaine. Mais si c'est plus qu'1 heure, ben ça sera plus qu'1 heure. Parce que s'il y a du monde qui l'écoute, puis on est en live, il y a du monde qui interagisse, ça durera plus longtemps, c'est pas grave, ça me dérange pas. À moins qu'il y ait des journées que je puisse pas, là. So even if it's gonna be always about an hour, but at least for the time for me to talk about the subject that I want to present every week. And so yeah, for the first episode, what I want to do, I really want to present you what I want to do for this thing. I have my notes, and I'll go through them. And, donc, cette semaine, je veux faire le tour d'un peu ce que j'ai l'intention de préparer pour vous là, à chaque semaine. Et je vais vous parler des sujets que je veux présenter. I'm going to go through the subjects that I want to go through every week with you guys. So, like I said, it's going to be an hour, and if there's people around and we're chatting and we're having fun, uh, it might last more than an hour. Um, hey, Paige, hello. So, welcome aboard. So every week this thing will be available afterwards. So I invite you to share it, send it to your friends or whatever. Because the reason why I'm doing this, je vous invite à le faire, à le partager, puis à envoyer ça à vos amis si ils trippent sur les jouets, sur Star Wars or whatever. Um, the reason why I'm doing this is I've been collecting, selling toys since I would say 1998. So it's been almost 24 years that I'm in this thing for fun. I don't have, as you guys know, I don't have a store. Um, I don't have a huge collection. My passion is Star Wars, but I have so many other things that I enjoyed, and this is why Yoda's Workshop exists, as you guys know. Um, but in this thing, what I want to do is I want to try to talk about something uh, that I learned during all those years, a subject, a specific subject every week that I'll go through and I'll be able to, I don't know, teach you guys a few things. Euh, je vais le dire en français. Donc, mon but de tout ça, c'est vraiment de pouvoir vous faire apprendre des affaires sur toutes les années que j'ai vendues et collectionnées depuis 1998 maintenant. Euh, j'ai appris plein de choses, je me suis intéressé à plein d'affaires. Il y a des affaires que vous allez probablement déjà savoir, mais c'est pas grave, ça va être des sujets que je vais essayer de rentrer le plus en profondeur possible pour vous faire What's up? faire apprendre des choses. So the thing is, it's really, I'm going to try to make you learn stuff. And I mean, that's one of the funniest thing to be on groups is to learn new things every week, every day about Star Wars collecting, any other toy lines or how this thing is made, all that. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go through several items and I'm going to show you guys the subjects that I want to talk about in the future. Donc, je vais passer à travers des systèmes que je vais vous montrer, puis je vais vous dire, bon, ben ça, c'est un sujet qui peut être intéressant. Il y a une semaine, je vais vous parler de ça. Pendant que je vais vous parler de ce sujet-là, ben, je vous invite à me poser des questions. C'est ça qui est merveilleux, c'est l'interaction qu'on a ensemble. So during that hour that I present you this subject or whatever, I invite you guys to ask me questions and I'll do my best to answer. One thing that you have to understand is I'm not taking myself seriously. What I mean is that, and the other thing is, I'm not saying that I know everything at all. I mean, I have friends that know million times more on some of the subjects that I want to share with you, but I'm gonna do my best to present it as the way I understand them and the way I've learned them. I'm going to share you stories, things that happened to me or people that I met or whatever. Donc, je suis très, très, très loin à moi de vous dire que je connais tout, pas du tout. Mais j'ai appris beaucoup de choses. Mais encore là, il n'y a aucun sujet que je connais complètement. Mais ça va me faire plaisir, par exemple, de faire le tour de ces sujets-là, puis de vous en parler. Puis si vous avez des questions pendant que je vous le présente, ben, ça va me faire plaisir de répondre à vos questions le mieux que je peux. Tantôt, je ne sais pas si je l'ai dit en français, mais sur ces podcasts-là, on va appeler ça un podcast, sur The Vintage Kids, ça ne sera pas des ventes. Il n'y aura pas de sale, il n'y aura pas de présentation d'items. Puis ça vaut 100$. Hein. Je peux vous dire des prix, mais ce ne sera pas des prix que je vais vous vendre, ça va être plus une question de valeur or whatever. So, like I said earlier, this is not going to be a live sale. This is not going to be a claim sale. we might talk about prices, but I'm not offering anything for sale during this thing. This is really for knowledge, for to share my knowledge, which is not that big, but I've been around. So, okay. Donc, ça, c'est un peu la raison pourquoi. So, this is mostly the reason why. Uh, and the fun thing is, it's always great to have a moment during a week where you know that you're gonna sit down and listen to something and be with your other collectors friends, or you'll be able to meet new people. I mean, on Yoda's workshop private group, we're 400 something, and like I always said, I'm not doing this for the numbers. I'm not doing this to try to reach to be the biggest Facebook group or whatever. I'm doing this for fun. There's nothing for me to win except having fun with you guys. Donc, j'ai déjà dit, mais le but, moi, de tout ça, c'est pas d'aller chercher le plus de likes puis le plus de shares. Non. Ça me dérange pas. Qu'on soit 400 ou qu'on soit 4000, je vais continuer à faire ce que j'aime puis ce que je fais pour vous parce que je le fais pour le plaisir. Et non pas pour aller chercher des shares puis des affaires de même. Euh, vous le savez, je me prends rarement au sérieux, puis ça ne changera pas là-dessus. Puis, I'll never. There's subjects that I won't talk, like politics. We're going to talk about news. We're going to, well, mainly around Star Wars, around the movies, around things. So let me go through a few subjects that I know that I want to share with you guys some information. Uh, I'm going to take some items, and it's going to help me to remember what I want to talk about during this new podcast. Um, donc, of course, je vais prendre des items, puis je vais vous les passer, puis ça va m'aider à me rappeler c'est quoi qu'il faut, de quoi je vais vous parler exactement. Évidemment, on sait que c'est Star Wars puis tout ça en général, mais je ne veux pas seulement que parler de Star Wars. Um, you guys know that most of the time we talk about Star Wars, 98, 95% of my stuff is Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars geek. But I also love tons of other stuff. And this podcast will help us go through other toy lines and other things that Star Wars. And I invite you guys to make me some suggestions. Yes, suggestions for new subjects. Say, hey Phil, we could talk about this, or I can help you with this subject or whatever. Donc, je vous invite aussi à me suggérer des sujets. Si vous avez un sujet en particulier que ça vous tente qu'on voit en premier, ben ça va me faire plaisir. Ce sera celui-là qu'on traitera la semaine d'après, puis tout ça. Donc, ce que je disais tantôt, puis je me mélange parce que je me souviens pas que j'ai dit en français pas en anglais, mais ce qui est vraiment trippant aussi là-dedans, c'est que c'est toujours cool d'avoir un moment dans la semaine où c'est que vous savez qu'à telle heure, telle journée, vous allez pouvoir vous asseoir, pogner votre iPad, votre ordi ou whatever, votre téléphone, puis vous allez vous retrouver avec une gang de freaks un peu comme vous qui tripent sur les mêmes affaires. Puis on va pouvoir discuter puis parler ensemble de ce qu'on aime. Puis, tu sais, au lieu d'attendre que ça va jouer à la TV, là, ben, on va le faire nous-mêmes. Je pense que c'est la meilleure façon de faire. Puis vous allez être avec des gens que vous connaissez, vous trustez, ou vous avez du fun avec. Fait que c'est ça. So, like I said, it's always great to be with friends once a week. That you know that that time of the day, of that day, will be all together and talk about our passion and with friends. Okay, so for example, the things that I want to talk about in the future. Uh, my friend Sebastien Ked brought me this today. It arrived earlier. I don't know if it was this week or whatever. Uh, Une des choses qu'on est habitué de voir, nous, c'est les figurines standards qu'on achète chez Walmart. We're used to see those toy lines that we all love and see at Walmart or Target for you guys in the US. Um, Toys R Us for us. Toys R Us for us. Ooh. I think I can make money on that. Let me call Toys R Us right away. Anyway, uh, but the thing is, we will talk about the vintage collection. We will talk about Black Series. We will talk about other stuff. But there are other subjects that is pretty cool, and people don't necessarily know that they exist. For example, this. This is a Mexican action figure that is made by this guy. I don't have his name, but the company is Twin Sons, and they're customs. They're custom made figures. So the guy creates the card back, and he creates, I think it's with a 3D printer. Donc c'est des figurines custom qui sont faites au Mexique par un gars qui a parti ça, c'est trippant. Il en sort une quantité limitée à chaque figurine qu'il fait. They're all like limited edition. So, like this one is the Boba Fett Neon Edition. So, Boba Fett Neon Edition, c'est printé, je pense, sur une chose 3D. C'est sur une bulle. The cards are always amazing. Uh, Great card back. This is not repro shit. This is like custom stuff, unique. There's someone that works to do this stuff. There's tons of these things, and it's it's going to be a great subject to talk about. Not only this company, but I mean all kinds of custom made items. So this is a cool subject that I want to talk about. Donc c'est un des sujets par exemple que je veux voir avec vous, c'est les custom made figures, des affaires qui viennent, ils appellent ça les bootlegs du Mexique, les bootlegs qui viennent d'ailleurs en Europe, whatever. Donc, pour des tripeux de Star Wars, c'est le fun, comme je dis, d'aller acheter ton bonhomme chez Walmart, mais quand tu réussis à mettre la main sur une affaire unique comme ça, puis tu sais qu'il y en a 80 dans le monde, c'est cool. Pour un collectionneur, tu sais, comme, OK, attends, j'ai vraiment quelque chose de spécial, tu sais. So, you end up having something very special, unique, that you cannot just go out at any store and purchase. And at the same time, um, you help a guy that got also the same passion of us than us, and he created those things. Anyway, so it's an example. Other things that we I want to talk about. It's like I said, always same thing. The usual items that you can get when they came out. Every wave from 1997 or from episode 1, episode 2, or whatever. But sometimes there are oddballs. Donc, il y a toujours les figurines qu'on peut s'acheter là, qui sortent régulièrement puis qu'on peut mettre la main facilement, mais il y a aussi ce qu'on appelle dans le milieu les oddballs. Donc, les oddballs, c'est les items que c'est plus rare, ils en font moins. Euh, Ils sont plus durs à trouver, puis surtout, ils sont on les voit pas, là, même sur eBay, ils sont durs à trouver. So those art balls are out, hard to find. Even on eBay, you won't be able to find them. Some exist, but they're not mint on card or they are not in packages. Ils sont plus sur dans leur paquet ou ils sont plus sur leur carte. Mais je vais vous donner un bon exemple. J'ai mis la main sur ça. J'avais jamais vu ça. Take a look at this. You guys ever saw this? This is a special set that they did. Those are die cast figures. Sorry for the focus there. So there's this set of die-cast figures from 1996, and the cards are smaller than the usual 1997 set. So I've never seen this thing, and I was happy to purchase the complete set. I received them today. So this is their cool hot balls. Not the same thing as Kirk's balls. This is something totally different. Uh, so, as you can see, it's a tree logo card. It's in English and French, and I mean, this is pretty cool. This is a nice item that I've never seen. The figure is little. It's that big. How big is it? It's about that big. So, c'est des figurines qui sont tout petites, mais sont en plomb, die cast ou en métal, ou elles sont en métal. Donc, figurines en métal moulées sous pression. Ooh, die cast metal collectibles. Let's try in a different language. Versammelfigurts jes gigoten in metal. Yeah, I mean, I'd never seen that set, and it's from 1996. So it shows how crazy this world of collecting is because even after 25 or 25, yeah, after 30 years, it's the first time that I've encountered these things. So every day I learn something new. Every day I stumble on something that I've never saw. Donc, c'est ça qui est le fun. C'est une preuve. C'était quelque chose qui est sorti il y a 30 ans que je n'avais jamais vu. Et que tout d'un coup, ben, tabarouette, je viens de tomber là-dessus. C'est donc bien cool. Puis, euh, c'est pas une question de valeur. C'est pas, j'ai aucune idée comment que ça va se vendre si je le mets à vendre. Je sais pas. C'est pas une question que je voulais l'avoir. Hey, c'est rare, je vais faire plein d'argent avec. It's not a question of how the value of it. I have no idea how much this cost or this worth. I don't know. But it's something that I've like stumbled on and was like, my God, never saw that. I want it. I found them in Ontario. Someone was selling the set in Ontario, and I jumped on it. I mean, I saw it the post there on Marketplace or over here in Canada we have Kijiji. I have no clue if you guys have that in the U.S. But it's like a market. It's like some sort of marketplace there, and I think I was lucky enough because I think it was posted like 5 minutes, and I stumbled on it. And I was like, oh my god, this is great. I've wrote down something. Can you ship it to my house? I said, yeah, okay. Oh, so I was really happy. So that's oddballs. That's another great subject. Donc c'est un oddballs. C'est un sujet qui est super intéressant parce que j'en ai plein des affaires comme ça qui sont weird. Uh, like this. I mean, this is amazing. It's one of my friends. Perhaps you saw them before, but they're coasters. They're coasters created by one of my friends, and they are laser burned, laser created. Ils sont faits au laser. Donc, c'est des coasters, puis c'est des coasters de Star Wars. Mais c'est un gars qui fait ça chez eux. It's a guy that does that at his home. I mean, and he gave me a set. I said, "This is amazing. That's a hardball. I mean, there's no Lucasfilm or whatever on it, but it's a unique piece. It's cool. Anyway, so oddballs. What else? Of course, like I said, it's not only Star Wars. It's also other toy lines. I mean, I grew up with Transformers. Transformers was my last real toy line that I've enjoyed as a kid. Um, I'm 47, so that's pretty much the last toy line that I've enjoyed. But once again, this is not necessarily an oddball, but Transformers G1. I mean, yeah, I can talk about Transformers G1 for hours with you guys. I have several of my old Transformers in my house, in my collection, so I would be really happy to talk about G1 for an hour. So, like, that's a good example. That's the Canadian lunchbox that they did back in 19. I think it's what's the date? 1995, 1985. So that's another good example. We're going to talk about the difference. Another good, great subject would be the difference between Canadian items or European items versus the US item. Donc, un autre des sujets qui est super intéressant, c'est la version canadienne, française, français, canadien, français. Et la version européenne. Yeah, Transformer Mask, Master of the Universe, right on. You're exact that you're right on, Greg. That's it. I mean, I did not grow. I did not really collect or play with Master of the Universe, but I mean, it's a great toy line. It's a great thing to talk about. So I'll be really happy to talk one week about Master of the Universe. I have several items, of course, in my in my collection, so I'll take them out and we'll talk. And it's always great also to have people to give us information. And it's not going to be only you guys that are going to ask me some questions, but I'm going to ask you guys some questions because, like I said, I don't know everything. Donc, c'est ça qui est intéressant. Les maîtres de l'univers, là, E-Man, puis Mask, puis G.I. Joe. Donc, c'est toutes des toylines qui sont super intéressantes. Évidemment, on parle aussi, là, on n'est pas juste dans le vintage. On va évidemment parler du vintage. We're going to talk about old vintage stuff, Star Wars stuff. But another thing that I really enjoy is the bust and the statues that Gentle Giant they create. They do some great work. I mean, those things are amazing. That's the armor from The Mandalorian. I did not take it out of the box because it's up for sale online. But I mean, that's a great piece. And there's only like, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. 800? How much? There's only 600 of these in the world. So the limited edition part of collecting is also great. And only that could be a subject. Do you guys prefer limited edition stuff or whatever? But one thing is I want to talk about for a week, that's for sure, it's busts and statues. Also, not only from Gentle Giant, we have also Hot Toys, but to be honest with you guys, I don't have any money. I don't have enough money to start purchasing statues because you have to understand, you guys in the US, that statues over here are crazy prices in Canadian dollar. And personally, I don't collect them. They're way too expensive. Donc, il y a les statues Hot Toys, mais vous le savez, ceux qui restent au Canada, les prix sont complètement ridicules pour moi, là. À moins que tu sois dentiste, docteur ou bien politicien, là, tu peux pas t'les acheter. T'sais. Puis bon, moi, politicien, tu l'achètes avec l'argent des autres, mais j'ai dit je parlerai pas de politique. So another example of like statues that they're not statues, they're figurines, but un autre exemple qui me fait capoter, c'est les sideshows. Donc, juste parler des sideshows, c'est une autre chose, un sujet complètement à part aussi. Est-ce que c'est un exclusif, c'est-tu pas un exclusif? Salut Michel! Donc, c'est un des sujets qu'on va pouvoir traiter. Les figurines qui sont faites par Sideshow sont magnifiques. Regardez-moi ça. Y a-t-il de quoi à parler en masse là-dedans, là, tu sais? Donc, ça, c'est un autre des sujets que je voudrais parler avec vous. C'est ça qui est vraiment trippant. Donc, je continue, je vous montre des trucs. Puis, s'il y a des affaires là-dedans qui vous tentent plus que d'autres, ben, j'ai pas encore décidé sur quoi je vais vous parler. Achète-les usagés au pays, les Hot Toys. Oui, mais même usagés, si le monde les vend super cher, c'est complètement fou, man. How much does Darth Maul worth? Je ne sais pas, man. I have no idea how much he is right now. Um, I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, I'm late in my collection for the prices and stuff because, like you guys know, my dad died a few months back, and we're still dealing with papers, and we're moving. My mom is selling her house, and it's a lot of time that we put on this thing. Sideshow figures are amazing, but most are out of price. Yes, exactly. Um, they're the sideshow. Some sideshow figures are pretty cool, but as soon as you get on the exclusive part with the sticker, I mean, because you have a additional end or additional cap or I don't know what, the prices go like crazy high. But still, it's a great subject to talk about because it's a part of the collecting world that some people only collect. Sorry, some people only collect sideshows, or some people only collect Gentle Giants, and they don't collect vintage stuff or whatever. Let me get some more items. Something that I really enjoy talking about is also the vintage toys in general. So, for example, like Popeye, that's a cool Popeye figure from 1979, still in the box. I mean, it's not worth a lot of money, but I mean, you still have this box from 1979. For me, this is great. I mean, this is something that I really enjoy finding and to hold in my hand and say, "Wow, this little fellow has been in this box in 1979 and it's still in perfect condition. It doesn't smell or it's been well stored or whatever." For me, this is something great. I get up in the morning and I'm happy about that stuff. Uh, we're talking about Gentle Giant. This is something also that I love collecting. This is the jumbo size figures, the series that they still do. Uh, I love these guys. These are really big, really hard to ship. Um, it costs crazy prices to ship in the U.S. Um, but I love them. I mean, these figures are amazing. That's something I really enjoy collecting, and I would love to talk about uh, something else. There you go, cosplay. I'm not a cosplayer. I never really went to a Comic Con or something dressed up as a Star Wars character. But what I love is listening to people talking about creating their costume or their weapons. Um, one person that I love to watch is Adam Savage from the Mythbusters. Now he's on Tested.com and he builds stuff. He builds some costumes. Donc j'adore écouter Adam Savage parce que sur Tested.com parce qu'il crée ses propres costumes puis qui crée ses propres armes. Moi, ça me fascine d'écouter un gars qui fait ça. C'est incroyable. Fait que je vous donne un exemple. Moi, ce que j'adore, c'est justement les items qui ont été customisés. Donc, ça, ce qu'on a ici, c'est un Nerf. C'est un gun Nerf. Mais je l'ai acheté, puis je l'ai travaillé un peu, puis j'ai mis un petit peu de wear pour qui a l'air comme usé, un peu comme dans les films. Mais c'est un gun qui fonctionne, il charge encore puis il tire. Sauf que life size. So that's one that I purchased and I customized myself. I'm far from being a pro, but I've worked on this thing and it was pretty fun. And it ended up pretty nice because it gives me a great piece to show in my displays. Donc, ça donne un item que vous travaillez dessus vous-même et après ça, vous pouvez mettre ça en display. Puis c'est incroyable, c'est grandeur nature, c'est parfait pour les cosplays. Euh, Ça, c'est un autre sujet. That's another subject that we can talk about. I mean, this is something that I really enjoy talking about and listening people that are building R2s, are building their own. That's pretty awesome. Yes, thank you. Building their own droids. This is amazing. I'm gonna take some. Okay, I was talking about Canadian stuff. Ah, that's just an example, but you guys in the U.S. were not didn't never got the chance to have this thing. These are from Attack of the Clones. In that box, there's two cereal boxes, and they're still intact, but I would not eat them. um, and there's a clone helmet that comes with this box, and it was only available in Canada. So that's a good example of the things that we can talk about when we're saying Canadian stuff or European or non-US items. Of course, like I said, comme j'ai dit au début, on va évidemment parler des figurines qui sont plus standards. We're going to talk about the regular stuff that we can purchase, like the vintage collection. So there's so many of these guys coming out every month. Some are great, some are not so great, but uh, we can spend more than an hour talking about the vintage collection items. So that's another subject that could be really interesting. Ça pourrait être un autre sujet qui est très intéressant. Je vais vous montrer. Let me show you guys another example. Uh, like I showed you earlier for the Boba Fett. This is one of my favorite custom-made action figure. I think it's Pete from the Sarlacc pit. Yeah, that did that from the other group. One of our friends that he asked for a golden rod C3PO. So I don't know if you guys can see it. Hey, there's that golden rod right there. Because it's based on the famous Tops card. So this guy in Mexico made him a goldenrod special edition. There's only 15 in the world. So he created 15 of these. I mean, talk about a rare piece, an excellent thing to have. He even signed the card back. Anyway, so that's another example of pretty cool items that you won't be able to find anywhere. Of course, we are going to talk about the reason why it started at all. Original Star Wars mint on cards or loose figures. So that's one of the latest, the one that came out in 1984. That's a B-Wing pilot from Power of the Force. It's not a graded one. It's just because it's an acrylic case from our friend Ian that we love all the work that he does. Donc, un autre sujet qui est, évidemment, on va parler, la raison pourquoi on est tous des tripeux, c'est évidemment les premiers bonhommes qu'on avait, qu'on pouvait acheter dans les magasins Star Wars. Il n'y a pas seulement que juste sur les figurines, il y a plein de sujets à parler. Only on the figures, there's tons of subject to talk about. There's mint on cards. There are loose figures. There's unpunched items like this one. There's every card back. There's the coins. The guns. There's so many stuff that we can talk about, and I've learned so much in the last, I don't know, 10 years on all these subjects. I mean, there's so many things to talk about that we're going to be able to have some podcasts every week for at least 2 weeks. I'm kidding. For probably a few years. If you guys enjoy it, of course. But I know that I'm going to enjoy just talking about it. Even if there's no one showing up, I think I'm going to do them and I'm going to keep them for the next generations. So, donc, même si, c'est ça que je dis, même si je vais tellement aimer pouvoir parler de ces sujets-là, j'ai tellement appris d'affaires dans les 10 dernières années sur les figurines, sur les toutes, comment est-ce que les figurines sont faites, où sont faites les COO. We're going to talk about COOs. We're going to talk about the which factory they are made in Hong Kong, made in Taiwan, made in you know, made in Drummondville, whatever. So that's something we'll be able to talk about. Of course, what we are going also we'll be able to talk about is this graded stuff. So we're going to be able to spend hours talking about graded items, AFA, CAS, UKJ. On va pouvoir parler de tout ce qui est gradé, les mint on card, le vintage, donc le AFA, le CAS, le UKJ, des Last 17. Comment est-ce que les grades sont faits? How the grades are made? Like the card is graded 80, the back, the bubble is 75, the figure is 75. Why? Why did they put that grade? All kinds of subjects. So that's another one that I want to talk about with you guys. We're also talking about not only vintage graded stuff, but also recent stuff, like um, like this guy. So this guy, well, this guy brings two subjects. Donc ce bonhomme-là, il va amener deux sujets intéressants. Donc on va parler aussi de pas juste que ce qui est vintage, qui est gradé, mais on va aussi parler ce qui est récent, qui est gradé. Il y a des figurines récentes qui sont gradées. Ça c'est un quoi ça? C'est un 8.5. Euh, il n'y a pas juste les figurines en magasin, il y a aussi les mail away. Donc, ça veut dire que c'est les figurines que vous pouvez juste mettre la main dessus. Um, Page, and that's okay. And that's the magical thing about the collecting community. I'm gonna make a, a little on that because you bring an important subject that I always love to talk about. The amazing thing about collecting is that every collector can have a different uh, thing that they enjoy or collect or love. Some people love graded stuff. Some people hate graded stuff. Some people don't care about graded stuff. Other they collect beater. Other they collect I don't know, unpunched items, sealed one, error on the cards, or and this is why it's so amazing to meet people that collect stuff, that they enjoy collecting, even if it's not toys. They can collect whatever they collect. I mean, it could be cards, it could be movies, whatever. Because we all have something that lights our little fire inside of us, and it's not necessarily all the same thing. And this is why, for me, it's amazing because it's an endless subject, and we have to respect what people love to collect because it's not because you collect 1987 stuff that you're not a good collector. If this is you grow up with and this is what you love, I mean, collect them as much as you want because it brings you joy and happiness, and it brings you back as your kid when you were a kid. We're all vintage kids. See, that's it. So, Paige, you have an amazing good point. Um, and for me, this is really important. This is why this community is amazing. The collectors community. Donc, je reviens là-dessus. On parlait des mail away. Donc, il n'y a pas juste les affaires gradées, les affaires qu'on peut avoir en magasin. On peut avoir aussi les figurines qu'on peut recevoir par la poste et qui sont beaucoup plus rares parce que ça vous prend, je sais pas, là, des factures. Dans le temps, c'était les proof of purchase. Euh, mais c'est pas des figurines qu'on peut avoir en magasin. So this is another good example of things that people might collect. They collect mail away stuff. So that's a good example. That's the mail away Boba Fett that they did. That's a VCP. Vintage collection P for, I don't know, postal probably, um, with a firing rocket thingy. And I'm lucky enough to have one graded. So that's another great subject, the mail away stuff. Euh, et on continue encore dans le gradé, comme je vous dis, ben, il y a évidemment les Black Series gradés, les Vintage Collection qui sont gradés. Euh, Puis il y en a qui aiment pas ça, il y en a qui aiment ça, c'est correct. Donc ça aussi, c'est un autre bon exemple. C'est tout un sujet qu'on va pouvoir vous parler ensemble. Un autre bon exemple, another good example. People love them, people hate them. Uh, Let me see. Did I brought? I don't know if I got this one. Anyway, uh, let's talk about the prototype series that they did. They started with I only collect graded. Just looks nicer when displayed. Yeah, you're right, Jared. You're right. I know that people love to have like walls of graded stuff, or at least an acrylic case. That's another thing. We can talk about acrylic stuff, the casing, the star case. There's tons of people that don't even know where to purchase the the star case, or they don't know where to get the acrylic cases for. I don't know. I'm going to give you an example. I've got a Jabba the Hutt playset that is, it's not sealed, but it's all inside, never taken out. And I was hoping to find a acrylic case for this playset. It's still in box. And lucky enough, Ian just made it a brand new case for this exact playset, and I was lucky enough to get one from him. But tons of people don't know that Ian exists, and he got his own company that creates tons of acrylic stuff for all kinds of figurines and playsets and whatever. Um, Donc, c'est ça. Juste parler des Starcase, les choses en acrylique que vous pouvez mettre la main dessus pour protéger vos items de collection, que ce soit encore dans leur boîte, qu'ils soient encore sur leur carte. C'est disponible, ça existe, mais il faut savoir c'est où, parce qu'on ne peut pas aller chez Toys R Us pour aller chercher ça. Il faut connaître les bons contacts. Ben, c'est ces affaires-là que ça va me faire plaisir de parler avec vous. Donc, on parlait la série prototype qui ont sorti. Ils ont commencé avec le Darth Vader, après il y a eu le Boba Fett, et ensuite il y a, non, il y a eu, ouais, le troisième c'était Stormtrooper. Là, il y a Chewbacca qui s'en vient. Donc, most of you already know, but they started with Darth Vader at the San Diego Comic Con. After that, they did Boba Fett, then the Stormtrooper, and now Chewie is on its way. So, is it a good idea? Yeah, maybe. Is it too much? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he is a to-go guy, of course. But before I was lucky enough to not to meet him, but to know him, I had no clue where to find these things because people go on Amazon or they go on other sites and they buy cheap stuff or they buy stuff that comes from China and it's like very cheap and they're not happy with their purchase because it's not doing a great job. Anyway, so that's another example. I'm pretty sure we could even ask one week. I could contact Ian and say, "Hey, are you available for a chat next week? We could talk about your stuff." See, that's another great idea that we can do. So another example: is it a good idea to have those prototype stuff? I don't know. We could talk about it. Hey, see, Frank, man. Une autre chose qui est vraiment cool aussi de parler, c'est pas juste, comme je vous dis, Star Wars, il y a aussi toutes les autres figurines. Puis moi, je suis un malade de Breaking Bad puis de Better Call Saul. Donc, j'ai mis la main sur les figurines de Breaking Bad de Saul Goodman. Mais c'est cool. Mais il y a du monde qui va dire, ah man, pourquoi tu collectionnes ça? Ben, c'est parce que je trouve ça cool. Puis ils existent, puis ils sont là, puis ils sont abordables. Et, c'est ça. That's another great example. They create so many figures from all kind of TV show, movies. So there's not only Star Wars or Transformers or GI Joe. There's so many other toy line that we can talk about. Of course, another subject that I always love to talk about is comic books. I'm not a very big collector of comic books, but I learn. I'm trying to do my best. Je suis pas un des meilleurs connaissants et un des meilleurs collectionneurs de comic book, mais je commence à apprendre, je commence à parler à beaucoup de monde puis tout ça, tu sais. It's all good, man. Donc, tu sais, DCU, Batman, que ça soit du vintage, que ça soit Silver Age, je sais plus trop comment que ça s'appelle. C'est quelque chose toujours qui est intéressant. Les numéros 1, number 1. The number ones are always more valuable. The people are trying to find the number ones from every comic. This is the first issue of Cable. It's not graded, but hey. And also talking about comic books, there's also the graded comic books. That's another subject right there. So, and even if it's comic books, it's Star Wars. So, where do we get our comic book graded? How does it work? How much does it cost? Golden, Silver, Bronze Age. Et voilà, c'est en plein ça. Donc, les gradés, ça vient comment? C'est fait comment? C'est où? Ça prend combien de temps? How long does it take? How much does it cost? How do they grade? How can you get a 9.2 or 9 whatever? Can you grade all sorts of comic books? That's another great subject that we can talk about. This one is that's a Boba Fett, graded 9. I mean, people say, "Oh, if it's not graded 9.8, it's not worth shit." Well, for me, it's worth enough. It's like I always say, it's not a question of selling. It's a question of you have it, you're happy with it, good for you. That's the way I see it. So graded, we all there's many graded company that make comics, that grade comics. There's CGC, which is the like the AFA of grading comics. All the other company, I mean, another great subject. Okay, let me check. What do we have here? Bon, là, François, tu vas être content de moi, là. Ben, on va passer par lui en premier. Uh, Other things that are great to talk about. People love, some people love them, some people hate them. Uh, custom stuff. Some people call them repro because it looks like the original stuff, but I mean it's not in the back. It's not Kenner, so you know that it's not an original. But I mean they're doing a great job with uh, customizing figures and make them look as they were back then. Because personally, I cannot purchase a Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett mint on card original. That's as much as I can pay uh, with my money is to get this custom made one. I mean, I'm happy to have it. I know it's not an original. I'm not gonna sell it as an original. It's not a. I don't encourage, uh, but I'm very happy to have this one because I would not be able to get it. So, c'est un autre sujet qui est super intéressant. Est-ce que le custom made c'est bon? Est-ce que le custom made ou le repro c'est bon? C'est pas bon? Il y a du monde qui aime ça, il y a du monde qui aime pas ça. Ben, on peut en parler. C'est un autre sujet qui est super intéressant. Moi, personnellement, je peux pas m'acheter un Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett mint on card d'original parce que j'ai pas les moyens. Faudrait que je vende mon char, ma souffleuse, puis mon enfant aussi. Puis même là, je serais probablement pas capable d'avoir il serait pas super beau. Fait que moi, ce que je peux me faire, ben, c'est me payer un custom made, puis je l'ai dans ma collection, puis je suis content. Tu sais? Donc, ça, c'est un autre des sujets. Hey, là, on s'entend dessus, on vient de faire le tour d'à peu près 20 sujets différents. G.I. Joe, of course, we'll be able to talk about G.I. Joe. I grew up with G.I. Joe's, a TV show with Transformers and stuff. Yes, it's a great custom fit, but I understand that people think that some sellers or people trying to sell them as original, and it's not right. I understand totally, but as long as you say to the person that's not an original, by the way, I can sell it to you, you can purchase it, but if you want to put it in your display, but it's not an original, that's okay. I mean, I cannot purchase an original from with my money. Mais bon, ça c'est un original. That's an original. G.I. Joe, vintage stuff, carded, loose, les battle gear. Once again, Canadian card, not Canadian card, European card, Hasbro, not Hasbro. So many subjects that we can talk about with G.I. Joe. The figures, the ships, the play sets. I mean, that huge. What's it called? Le porte-bateau, le porte-avions. Comment on dit ça en anglais? Le gros porte-avions. You know the big playset that they did, the G.I. Joe playset that they did, and it was huge to put your planes on. My brain's not working well. Un porte-avions, a door airport. The flag. No, the bag. uh, and other subjects. Other subjects. Books. Star Wars books. I mean, I've read tons of these. Yes, the aircraft carrier. Thank you very much. My English is not great, but sometimes I forget. What did I miss, Scott? T'as manqué la première période, là. Si Patrick Roy fait les arrêts importants, mais je pense qu'on est prêt pour le voyage à Boston. Um, so another subject are books, Star Wars books, legends, canon, or whatever. Um, I've read tons of these. I mean, there are great, great, great stories. The USS Flag, yes. Um, there are so many stories, so many great characters that were created in legends and in the expanded universe. The Timothy Zahn books. You know what I'm talking about. So that's another great subject. We can talk about all the books that came out, the one that you prefer, the one that you didn't read because you didn't enjoy the whatever the first from the series or you don't like that writer. That's another great subject. Okay. What else? We're almost done. We're almost done. We were talking about, on parlait des jouets from other TV shows. The Love Boat. Action figures from The Love Boat from 1981. Once again, Canadian card. That's another great subject. Chips. Uh, I mean, that was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. I was watching Chips every week with Poncharello, Eric Estrada. I mean, those are great things to collect, and they're not that expensive. And for me to be able to get one of these, I mean, I got chills because it was like, wow, I grew up with that TV show also. It was not the movies, it was on TV. And back then, as you guys know, you missed an episode, well, just too bad. There's no internet for you to watch it back or no Netflix. So man, that was an amazing show. I've got Puncharillo. I've got Punch action figure also. I think I have four or five Chips action figures mint on card. And once again, this is the Canadian card, which is pretty hard to find. Les Grands Jouets, Grand Toys. I don't know if you guys can see. It's Mego Corp, but it's Grand Toys, Grand Jouet. That's another great thing to talk about. Like I said earlier, Canadian cards and stuff. So, great action figures. And of course, something that I've never thought I would go so nuts on. Une des choses que je pensais jamais que j'allais triper autant. Cardbacks. I mean, the cardbacks, I'm nuts about cardbacks. I've got tons of cardbacks. Because the story behind the cardbacks, l'histoire en arrière des cardbacks, pensez-y 2 secondes, ok? C'est déjà rare d'avoir la figurine sur sa carte. It's already hard to find action figures mint on card. But even if they've sold millions of figures, you'll be able to find the R2D2 figure, you'll be able to find your C3PO figure. Tu vas être capable de trouver la figurine que tu veux parce qu'ils en ont fait des millions. They did millions of these action figures. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that as a kid, we would get our action figure at the store or at Christmas, and we would tear the shit out of it, and we would get our R2D2 action figure, and we would put that card back in the garbage because there was no recycling back then. Donc, pensez 2 secondes, le nombre de card back that ended up in the garbage. I mean, it's probably 90% because How many moms or dads or even kids that would say, "I want to keep my card back. I think it's a great card back." I mean, all that would end up in the garbage. So for me, I think I enjoy more the card backs than I enjoyed the action figures, loose action figures, because I see those card backs as art. Um, they are art pieces. They are amazing pictures, amazing style, amazing details, and of course, we will talk about the uh, the card, the backs of the card back because they are all different. So this is a Return of the Jedi 65 card back. People say, I mean, isn't it always the same back? No, Star Wars did every time that a new wave would come out, it would be a different card back with new action figures on the back with new offers. This is the free Emperor offer, and you would get the pop in the mail, and you would receive a Emperor action figure. Donc, tu pouvais découper le proof of purchase ici, puis tu l'envoyais par la poste, puis tu recevais ta figurine de l'empereur par la poste. C'était cool, puis t'attendais après, puis ça prenait 10 semaines. It would take 8 to 10 weeks. In Canada, it would probably even be worse. You forgot about it, and it ended up in the mail. Uh, so for me, card backs, I mean, they are all amazing and they are all unique. For example, this is a R5D4, and it's not a 12 back, it's a 20 back, and it's the Boba Fett offer. And in the back, there's this great Boba Fett prototype action figure. And lucky enough, this one, the sticker is still in great condition, but so many of these, the stickers have been tear out, or there's so many variations. Il y a tellement de variations du cardback avec le Boba Fett. Parce que, évidemment, ils l'ont enlevé sur le marché avec le rocket firing. They took it out of the you did not receive the rocket firing. That's the famous story. But there's so many variants of this, and like I said, look at the back of this thing. For me, it's art. Salut Manu, on se revoit, man. On se reparle. Tu viendras écouter le reste après, ça va être disponible. De toute façon, mais j'ai presque fini, fait que. So, cardbacks. All kinds of cardbacks, from Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi, and even G.I. Joes. I mean, they're not in great shape, but still a G.I. Joe card back from 1985. Évidemment, and of course, card backs with bubbles. Lucky enough to get a card back with original bubbles still attached. That's amazing. That's great. And of course, Canadian card backs. I think I have one right here. Here's an Empire Strikes Back. Canadian card back. You're going to say, why is it Canadian? It says Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, but right here, you see, it's in French. And in the back, La Guerre des Étoiles, l'Empire contre-attaque. All in French. So this is amazing. Well, for me, that's amazing. So that's a great subject to talk about. If you guys love the card backs, you want to trade, you're looking for some, let me know. I'm always happy to help out. This one is with the coin offer when they started to make some coins. Anyway, card backs. Another great subject. Of course, another subject that I love to talk about, it's Star Wars cards. Topps makes amazing Star Wars cards. They've been doing some cards since 19. I mean, there's the vintage sets, of course, but I mean, with the ones that are including like autographs, there are some sketches. I brought a few to show you guys right here. Just a second. Yeah. So there's the hobby box, the rental box. There are the I forgot the other name, But all kinds of boxes, depending on which one that you're purchasing, you have more chance to get either an autograph or a sketch or a numbered limited edition card. This one is still sealed. I sold it today, so it's heading tonight in the mail. Um, I've always loved collecting cards. As a kid, I collected hockey cards. I've got tons of hockey cards. I still have tons of hockey cards. For example, this is my Guy Lafleur rookie card. As you guys know, Guy Lafleur died a few days ago. So, example, great cards. Love hockey cards. I'm not into baseball cards and football. I don't watch football. I'm more a hockey guy. Back when we had a baseball team here in Montreal, I was really into baseball. I played baseball as a kid. But I prefer collecting hockey cards. So, example, um, what's his name? Kaprizov. That's Kaprizov. That's Cole Caulfield. Anyway, you get the drill. So if you're into hockey cards, we can talk about hockey cards for one night on the Vintage Kids podcast. And back to the Star Wars cards. There's of course the signature ones. So you get a card that is signed by the actor or the actor that made the voice of this action figure, that not action figure, but this figure character. So this one is numbered. Great card. There's also like the simple numbered one, the parallèle cards, donc les cartes signées, les cartes plus rares, les cartes parallèles qu'on trouve dans les boîtes qui sont plus difficiles à trouver. Celle-là est numérotée. Je ne sais pas si vous allez pouvoir voir. Ça, c'est numéroté 31 de 99, 31 of 99. And there's also the printing plates, which is a very cool item to get when you find one in a package. This is one of one. There's only one in the world. This is the I'm gonna take my glasses off. Uh, this is the actual magenta printing plate used to manufacture cards of Qui-Gon lightsaber of the Jedi from 2020 Star Wars Jedi Archives trading card. So this is the plate that they use to create the cards. So there's only one in the world like that. So when you find one in your package, you're pretty happy because you have something pretty unique. So that's a metal plate. I don't want to take it out, but that's a metal plate, and this is what they use to create regular cards. This is amazing to me. I mean, this is great knowledge. I love these things. We were talking about graded stuff, of course. There's not only mint on cards, there's also loose figures. So graded loose figures. This one is a Lily Ledy action figure made in Mexico. That's another great subject. We were talking about COOs, but there's also the Lily Ledy action figures that are pretty cool. Some people only collect Lily Leddies because they have enough money. Uh, of course, other things like booklets, catalogs. When we were purchasing new playsets or whatever, we get these great catalogs from Return of the Jedi, from Empire Strikes Back, or whatever. These are nice. That's the Stitch one, which is supposed to be pretty rare. I don't know. That's another thing that I've learned recently. So, collection catalogs, great subjects. It's a great subject once again. And of course, people love to collect factory seal cases. So that's a factory seal case from the wave 3 of retro figurines from Mandalorian. So in this case, which is sealed, there's the wave of the last retro collection. Some people love to collect seal cases, factory seal cases. You cannot get more mint action figures than this because it's right out of the factory, and if you open this and you send this to AFA to get it graded or whatever, you have perfect condition, unless this case would be smushed in a way. Donc, des gens qui collectionnent les caisses qui sont fermées, qui sont fermées directement à la caisse de Kenner, à la caisse, à la factory, à l'usine de Kenner. Donc, les figurines qui sont là-dedans sont en parfaite condition, à moins que la caisse se soit faite écraser en chemin. Mais bon, il y a des gens qui collectionnent les caisses. Euh, donc, c'est ça que j'ai trouvé intéressant aussi, c'est que pendant que je faisais mes lives, j'ai remarqué que les gens étaient énormément curieux et intéressés à m'écouter, leur expliquer des affaires. Puis pour moi, c'est des affaires qui sont super intéressantes, puis qui sont dans ma tête, que j'ai appris, que j'oublie pas, puis que j'adore partager. Um, so this is why this thing came up. Is when I was doing my live sales, or I was doing some whatever during on Yoda's workshop, people were very curious and very interested to learn stuff. People were asking me questions about, oh yeah, how come this and this, and I realized, I mean, I have to do this podcast and share knowledge because this is something important in life. Share your knowledge, share what you learn, talk about your passion, talk about everything that you learn every day. Donc, je pense que c'est super important dans la vie, c'est de partager nos connaissances, de parler de nos passions entre les gens qui sont tripeux de la même chose. Donc, c'est un peu pour ça que je veux faire The Vintage Kids. Et évidemment, ben, il y a pas de problème de trademark. Uh, what are you talking about? Oh, it's Ted and Heron Fortney. I was talking about the reason why I was doing this new podcast. I'm going to try, well, I want to do this every week. Uh, and as I'm fine, I hope you guys are okay. Um, I saw some great pictures, by the way, of you guys. Uh, And what I was saying earlier is that when I was doing my live sale on Yoda's workshop, people were asking me questions about specific things like graded stuff, like mint on cards or card backs or whatever. So I realized that I really have to do this podcast and not sell stuff, but share information and answering questions. And this is why I'm starting the Vintage Kids. And I hope you guys will listen to this thing every week. If you're not able to join me live, it's okay. I'm going to post this on YouTube and I'm going to leave every episode on the Yoda's Workshop page. I might even share them on other groups that I'm admin on. So we'll see. So that's about it, guys. I mean, we could talk about more subjects, but you have a general idea of what I want to do. Donc, c'est pas mal ce que je voulais faire ce soir avec vous. Ça fait déjà 1h10 qu'on jase, ben que je jase. J'ai pas mal fait. On a vu plusieurs sujets, là. Il y a plein de choses qu'on n'a pas encore parlé. On n'a pas parlé de diecast, on n'a pas parlé de bijoux, on n'a pas parlé. Il y a tellement d'affaires à parler. There's so many subjects to talk about. Thank you, Greg. I really appreciate it. I know that you will, and it's always fun to have you around, man. And I promise you, I'm gonna say your name the way you enjoy it. Also, you know what I mean. Uh, so that's it. So j'espère que vous avez apprécié. J'espère que vous avez aimé ça. La semaine prochaine, je vais revenir. Uh, Great. I'm happy to read this. This is amazing. So, Paige, you're always welcome. As you know, it's fun to have you around. We have so many friends from so many other groups, and as I always say, I did not create Yoda's workshop to be better than others. That's not the point at all. I'm not trying to get more likes or whatever. That's not the point. I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this for us, for you guys, for me. There's no money involved. There's nothing. It's just me, you, uh, friends, and we have so many common friends. We have so many great people that we know, that we learn from others, and we learn from other groups. And for me, it's a great thing to be able to share all this knowledge with my friends over here in Quebec, and others around the world. So that's it. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm having fun doing it. Uh, some people love to go to the movies. Some people love to go play golf. Some people love to whatever, take drugs. It doesn't matter to me. You do what you want. You do what you like. But I love doing this. This is my safe zone. This is my happy place. So I hope you guys will be there. If you're not, it's okay. Even if I make a live and there's like one person, even if there's nobody, I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna talk about the subject that I'll present you every week, and it will be available on the web. So thank you very much. That's it. See you next week. Next week, and feel free to send me some subjects that you want to talk about. That's another one here. Hot Wheels. I collect Hot Wheels. I love Batmobiles. I've got tons of Batmobiles or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Kristen Lee, if you're watching this, I've got tons of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. I would love to have you one week to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that's it. Have a great night. Thank you, Greg. Uh, Everyone from this group and everyone that is watching afterwards, take care. Sending you love. Je vous embrasse. Je vous envoie plein d'amour. May the force be with you. So you must do what you feel is right, of course. Donc, bonne semaine. Have a great week. Be safe. Be good. À bientôt.